Hello, in this video I've got 4 fun face effects that you can use on your friends and family to come up with some really funny effects like these. So let's get started. I've got a selection of different starting images here, and we'll begin with this face mash that you see on the left here. So for this I'm going to open up 2 separate portraits, one of a baby and one of a man. And to begin we'll just grab the lasso tool from the tools panel and make a rough selection of the face here like this. And then I'll just grab the move tool from the tools panel here, and I can click and drag that selected area up to the tab of the other image and then down and in and release to copy it over. And then I can just position it roughly where I want it like this. I can also hit Command or Control and T to transform it if I want to perhaps resize it slightly and get it into position. And I can also hit E for the eraser tool and just erase any parts of the layer that I don't want, such as the areas that are overlapping the hat like that. And with that done, I'm ready to start merging the 2 layers. And to do this, we need to start off first by making a selection of that top layer. So I'll hold Command or Control, that's Command on a Mac, Control on a PC, and click the thumbnail of that top layer there in the Layers panel to load that area as a selection. And I just need to poke a hole in the background layer. So to do this, I'm going to double click it to make it editable, and then I just want to make the selected area slightly smaller, and we can do this by going to Select, Modify, Contract, and we'll contract by about 20 or 30 pixels, and then I can hit Backspace to delete that selected area from the background layer, and Command or Control D to deselect. And now the reason I've done this is because this allows me to use an automated feature to merge the 2 layers with a single click. And to do this, I can just highlight both of them here in the Layers panel by Command or Control clicking on both of those layers. Then I can go to Edit, Auto Blend Layers. And I can check Panorama, make sure Seamless Tones and Colors is checked too, and then hit OK. And you see that seamlessly blends both of those layers together to give me my funny face effect. Now let's move on to the second effect, and this is quite similar. For this one we're going to be merging or swapping 2 faces here to create this kind of effect. So this is our starting image here. We can just open that one up, and again we'll use the lasso tool, and we just need to make a selection of one of the faces like this. And with that done, we can duplicate it to a new layer with Command or Control and J. And then we just do the same with the other layer. So highlight the background again, make a selection of the other face like this. And again, Command or Control and J will copy that selected area to a new layer. Then we just use the Move tool to move one face over here and the other face over here like this. And I've got Show Transform controls checked up here, which gives me the bounding box around each layer, and I can use that to click and transform. I can also right click and choose Flip Horizontal, and I think it will work better if this face is kind of angled inwards like this and the other face is angled the other way. So again, I can right click and choose Flip Horizontal and then scale it up like this until it kind of fits roughly where we want it to. And with that done, again, we're going to want to just delete any areas that we don't want. So again, just using the eraser tool, we can paint over this area here where the face overlaps the hair, just to tuck it down behind the hair like that, and also around the edges of the face like this. And then do the same with the other layer. We don't really need to be too precise about this because having it kind of rough and ready is all part of the fun. And with that done, we're again going to use the Auto Blend Layers option. So this time I'm going to hold Command or Control and click the thumbnail of one of those layers, and then I can hold Command or Control and Shift and click the thumbnail of the other layer to add that into my initial selection. So I've basically selected the shapes of both of those layers. And again, I'll go to Select, Modify, Contract. And again, contract by about 30 pixels, highlight the background layer, we can make it editable again by double clicking it, and again hit backspace to delete that section on that background layer. And then all we have to do once more is highlight all 3 layers there, go to Edit, Auto Blend Layers, use those same settings and hit OK. And you can see that gives us our funny face swap effect. And we could of course go in and try and tidy things up a little bit with the clone tool perhaps, but I think we'll leave it there for now. Now let's move on to our next image here, and this time we're going to flip a face to create a kind of bearded lady effect like this. So this is our starting image here. We'll open that one up, and then we'll start by flipping the face here. So we can go to Image Rotation and choose 180 degrees. Then we can again switch to the lasso tool and use it to make a rough selection of the face once more. And with that done, we can hit Command or Control and J to copy that selected area to a new layer, and Command or Control and T will allow us to transform it. Then we can right click while transforming for these different transform options, and we'll use Flip Vertical and then reposition it like this. And then all we need to do is soften the edges to get a nicer transition here. So we can click the Add Layer Mask icon here to add a layer mask to that top layer, then grab the brush tool, set black as our foreground color, bring opacity up to 100%, and then we want to make sure we're using a soft edged brush, so we bring the hardness down to 0, and then we can just paint to soften the transition like this, just for a smoother result around these edges here. And if we accidentally paint over any areas that we don't want to hide, we can hit X to flip to white and then paint to reveal them instead like this. And we might need to finish off just by cloning to get rid of any areas that are a bit messy, like the top of the head here. So we can click the Create New Layer icon to give me a new empty layer. I can grab the Clone tool from the Tools panel over here. And I want to make sure I'm working on Sample All Layers. Then I can hold Alt and click to sample a source. Again, I'll bring the opacity up to 100 and then just paint to clone over those messy areas. And if I want a smoother transition here, it might be worth just bringing the opacity down somewhere around about there. And then I can paint to make the transition between the tones a bit more gradual, just to blend things in like that. I could do the same on the cheek over here. So that's my bearded lady effect. Now let's go back into Bridge, and there's one other effect I'm going to show you here, which is the big head effect. So this is my starting image here. We'll open that one up. And this one's really easy. We'll just grab the Quick Selection tool from the Tools panel over here and paint over the head. And you see how the tool does a pretty good job of selecting it like that. We want to make sure that we're not selecting the neck here, so I'm going to hold Alt and paint to subtract from the selection around here, just so that it stops at the chin. And we might need to just spend a little time just fine-tuning the selection edge. And then if we want to improve the edge further, we can always use Refine Edge here and just up the radius to increase the area of refinement along these edges here. Just paint over this bottom part of the neck here to try and get a smoother transition. And with that done, we can choose Output to Selection, hit OK, and again hit Command or Control and J to copy that selected area to its own new layer. Then Command or Control and T once more allows us to transform it. And before I make it larger, I'm just going to move this center point here down to the base here at the neck, just so that we're transforming outwards from this point. And then we can hold Shift and drag the corner of the box outwards like this to make our head larger. Just like that. We'll hit Enter to apply, and we can of course add a layer mask and then paint with black if we need to tidy up any messy patches like the edge over here. And that's all there is to it. So there we go. That's how to use a combination of different selection and blending controls in Photoshop to create some funny face effects.